Hey YouTubers, have you ever wondered why there are small YouTube channels out there who seem to make a crazy amount of money? Yeah, there's bigger channels that don't make that much at all. And there's kind of everyone else in the between who's just like really struggling to get anywhere. Well, the reason there are small YouTube channels making big money is actually pretty simple. Is because they have figured something out that allows them to focus on the areas that get them the best result. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how this works. And I know it works because I've been using it for a while. I've been using it for my clients to help them get more views. And I've also been using it to help small creators make a lot of money. Now, these aren't big creators, like smashing it in terms of getting millions of views per video. What these are people who are getting sort of 3,000 to 10,000 views per video and doing, focusing on an offer that makes them money. And this is the key here. So here's some more of the things we're going to look at. We're going to look at the 12 things. Let me just turn this volume down, sorry. The 12 things that stop you getting views and making money right now. And then I'm going to show you which of these 12 things you need to focus on right now so that you can grow your channel and make money from it. And then I'm going to show you one thing that's really kind of worried me. Don't worry, I'm not ill. So I asked my email list to submit their channels to this, and I would actually teach you guys how to fix all of these problems by reviewing them. And out of the 650 people that applied, pretty much everyone I looked at had the same, what I would say is a catastrophic error in terms of selling. Like, you're just not going to make any money if you do this. But the good news is it's the easiest fix. Like, you will be able to fix this at the end of this call and during it, but don't sneak off, keep watching. So I'm very excited to share that with you because I actually think it's going to be life-changing for some of you. All right, so let me just look at how I want you to think of YouTube for the rest of your life. And the good news is it's actually kind of simple. Please excuse the worst flipping diagram in the world. I drew this on a flight. It's not my best work. Let me explain. So this top pipe is views. If you want to grow a YouTube channel, all you need to do is get water from the left to the right. That's it. Just think of it like that. Then, if you want to grow a business, all you need to do is connect those views. So the water drips from the top right into the bottom, which is income. And then all you need to do is have a product or service that you sell to people. And that makes you income. And you just need to get the water to go from the right to the left. That's it. But here lies our problem. Inside this, there are 12 doors. And these doors need opening to allow the water to come through. And if you don't open the door, the whole thing falls apart. So this channel, for example, they are kind of screwed in that they haven't got the first thing that you have to get right on YouTube working to make everything else work. And that means they're going to grow. And the thing about this first point is there's actually a little bit at the bottom where all the water drops out, which means you lose all your motivation, energy, and you don't get anywhere. Sad times. This is another channel. They're actually pretty good at the first 5, but their blockage is in the 5th. So the small channels who make big money, they just know, oh, I just need to fix my 5th block, and this whole thing will fire up. This whole system will get going. And then we have a channel like this. This is a channel who's smashing it on YouTube. They're growing fast, and they've just put out an offer and nothing's really working. And that is because they're not connecting the views to the offer well enough. And that is the big mistake that I mentioned earlier. And then what we have is this channel who is doing everything right, and these guys are about to flip and explode. So if they fix that 12th one, they're going to rock it. But also, we have channels that look like this. So this might be a channel that is doing the first 5 things well, but the 5th one's not that great. It's okay. So it's letting some water through, which means it's growing slowly, and then it's also making sales slowly. So all they need to do is focus on opening that door a little bit more, and all of the flow of everything else will speed up. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm not showing you the channels right now. You're saying hopefully the channels. The pipes on screen represent channels. So let me make that clear, right? So this is a channel who has a problem, who is a 5th blockage. I'm not actually showing any channels. This is a channel who has a blockage in the 9th. So these diagrams represent fictional channels that I have just made up. They are not real channels. I'm about to show you actual channels. But what you just need to do is realize that this represents your channel. And you will have a blockage here somewhere that is stopping you from getting views and making sales. So to help make more sense of this and actually show you with real channels, because it sounds like I've confused the heck out of everyone, I've taken 3 channels that submitted, and I'm going to put them into this system, and we're going to look at the 12 things that are going to stop them making views, and the 12 things that are going to, and the things that are going to stop them making money. And then at the same time, you're going to be able to relate this to your own channel, because I'm going to show people how you're going to fix the mistakes they're making. I'm going to give you some quick tips on all of them to help you improve. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a list, and I'm going to rate each of the 12 things within their system and their pipes, and I'm going to put a score next to it. And this channel will then be able to look at it and go, I know exactly where to focus to get more views or make more money. And the really interesting thing about this is the people who submitted told me what their biggest problem was. And most of them, or some of them, they all think their problem is something else. Really, they have a completely different problem. So this is going to help you understand where your problems really lie on YouTube. All right, hopefully that's clear. Appreciate you guys in the comments. Let's move on to our first channel. So, by the way, thank you very much for submitting. Like, this is a brave thing to do. We're going to go pretty deep. And I appreciate you guys being so brave here. All right, so this is Ian's channel, and we're going to look at the first blockage on it. So the first thing out of these 12 points is very simple. This is your overall channel strategy, as well as the direction of your channel. So what I mean by this is, a lot of channels on YouTube, they can't grow because they make videos that don't bring people back, right? They're not connected, and they're all over the place. A sign that a channel is going to make it is that they have a very clear audience they're targeting with, and they're going after solving their problems. So if we look at Ian's channel, what you're going to notice here is we know exactly what he's targeting. It's investing, right? The second we land. So a quick test for your own channel. If you can't, within a few seconds, land on a channel and go, I know exactly what this channel is about, you probably have a problem. So what's it about, and who's it for? Those are the questions that should instantly stick out. So I've turned up the audio, by the way. Someone said it was loud, quiet, but if it's quiet, if it's too quiet on your side, just turn up the speaker. It's at max volume here. Okay, so that's the first thing we need to look at. So I'm just going to quickly rate Ian. So I look at Ian's channel and I instantly go, who's this for? Well, it's pretty obvious to me. It's to people who are 50 to 60 looking to retire. Ian, you smashed it. I'm going to give you a 7 out of 10. Now don't worry, I'm not going to give anyone a 10 out of 10 ever, because there's always a door we can open. We never get this perfect. I don't even rate myself above 8 on anything. And actually, we don't need to go above that, because the truth is, if you've got a gate open 7 out of 10, there's enough water flowing to get you some great results. All right. So the next thing in the blockage is titles. So here's some rules for titles, or guides, because we can break the rules. They need to be under 50 characters. That means that they're not getting cut off anywhere on YouTube, but also they're very easy to read. And ideally, they need to create intrigue. And also, if you want to remain niche, they're not too broad, attracting everyone. They're attracting the right kind of people. So a quick look at Ian's channel here. Some of these channels, titles are very simple. Some of them are a bit long. Some of them are a little bit dull. But I'm going to turn around and just say, look, you've got a 5 out of 10. I want to move on because you've got a much bigger problem. Enter Ian's thumbnails. So Ian said that his biggest problem was actually gaining subscribers. Ian, this is why you are not gaining subscribers. So what I really like about your channel is you got 4,500 views on this video in 22 hours. You've only got 4,000 subs, 1,900, 38,000. If you fix your thumbnails, you will double your views. I can promise you that. So this is going to be the quickest way for you to get subscribers. It's the quickest win. And I'm going to give you a few tips to enable you to do this right now. Okay, so look, just keep it simple. So this is what I knocked up very quick. Things I don't like. If you are in the thumbnail, we can see Ian's put his head down here small. If you are small and in the corner, you need to ask yourself a question, do you even need to be in the thumbnail? And the answer is probably no. So we want to make use of the space. Now, this retire at 61, we have you tiny in the bottom left, which isn't sticking out particularly much. We then have this yellow blobby thing in the middle. I don't know what it is. We then have a weird picture cut out in a square. And then we have a British flag. We then have 60 and retire. So just simplify your image down to like 3 things. You don't need crazy design. You don't need glows. You don't need things that are going to put off your audience because they're a more mature or viewer. We just need to keep it simple. So I've made you big. You can see here. Small Ian's no good. I made you big. And then I just made the text simple and got rid of everything else. Now, I'm not saying you have to use these colors. It's just a quick mock-up. But that's all I'd advise you do. Just don't try and over-design these things. Just keep them very simple. And another quick win for you is this text, right? So like you're using so many different fonts. We don't need to do that. You're making your life harder. Stick to the same font, just use the same sort of colors, use the same sort of style. It will save you time and it will simplify everything. But I'd also get rid of this gradient you've got in the background because you're blending blue to like orange and you've just got brown in the middle. And let's face it, brown's like the worst sort of shade to make stick out on YouTube, right? In terms of like background colors. So keep it blocky. This is a bit better actually with this kind of like graph, but let's move on from there because this is your biggest blockage. I'm giving you a 2. All right, this next one is very important. I don't think people think about this enough. So let me just explain how this works because I'm going to use this word a ton now. So in YouTube, the reason most people don't grow is because they don't exude credibility straight away. So think about how it works, right? There's so many people in the education space and the business space saying, oh, I'll get you this result. And we are just naturally, we just don't trust them anymore. So we have to find a way to build trust with our viewers like that. And the first way we do that is with a strong first impression. So one of the things I look at when I'm kind of reviewing channels straight away to work out where to fix their block is the first impression causing them any sort of harm? So in order to do that, what we're going to do is I'm going to click play on one of Ian's videos. If I can figure out where the doodah's gone. Sorry. Here we are. I'm not even going to... All right. I'm not going to use that one because you've used a screenshot. Let me just...
Calculated.
That one too. Bear with me one sec. Oh, this is the one. All right. Screenshot one's fine. I just want to pull out a problem here that's wrecking your credibility. So first things first, we judge on appearance. I hate to be the guy that says this, but I'm looking at you going, do I trust this guy? And actually, things are looking good for me because, well, I do trust you. If you were like an 18-year-old giving me advice on retiring, I wouldn't. So you're a more mature guy. And because of that, I actually think this guy probably got more experience just because that's the way our brains work, right? The thing I don't like about this is I can see your dinner in the background covered in foil. It's like a casserole. So straight away, I'm like, well, what did this guy have for tea? As we call it in the UK. And then on the right, I can see a Costa, and then there's like clutter. So the viewers straight away start to stop listening to you. They will, trust me, they pick up on so many little things. So in terms of a first impression, you need to fix this because I don't want to have financial advice given to me whilst there's cooking going on in the background. And that's just kind of like the blunt, mean truth. The simplest fix, just you don't have to have a crazy studio. Just go and film up against the wall. Remove anything that could cause any distraction and you are good. But I'm not going to say these are critical. So I'm just going to say the initial first impression before you even open your mouth, we're good. We got a 5 out of 10. It's not the worst. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is the hook. So we're slowly driving water down this pipe, remember? And we've got to the stage where the first thing that comes out of our mouth needs to hook people. So I'm just going to quickly play your hook and see what you say.
Let's look at 10 important investing principles and how they can benefit your portfolio.
Okay, so in terms of a hook, it's not really a hook, it's more of a setup. So the idea of a hook is we want to pique people's curiosity a little bit. We want to make them maybe feel like the content's more related to them. And we just want them to actually want to stick around to listen to the setup. So what I would have done is very simply just posed a question. So let's think about your viewers' biggest fears here. Let's ask them a question that kind of shows people we understand what they might be. So this is about investing for a great portfolio, which in return is going to give these guys a great retirement. You could ask a question like, do you worry that you'll get to 65 and not have enough money to retire on? It's as simple as that, because most of the people watching are going to go, yes. This guy gets me. I'm 38. I still worry about that, right? Like, oh, what if I don't have enough, right? It's just fears built into us. So we just want a very quick type of hook, and that's just one that you can use. So I looked at a few of your videos. It's not the worst by any means doing what you did because you just get into this video, which is great, but it didn't pique my curiosity. So look, I'm going to give your hooks a 4, but at the same time, I don't think they're too much damage. The water's flowing through here for your audience. And then we have the setup. So your setup is your hook here. Let me just watch it again.
Let's look at 10 important investing principles and how they can benefit your portfolio.
Okay. So that is a setup. That's what to expect in the video. One thing I want you to start doing is to think about stakes and why this information is just so critical for people. So pump up the drama a little bit. You don't have to go over the top because I don't think your audience is going to appreciate that. But why are these important? So it's like you write a hook and you say something like, do you worry that you're going to get to 65 and not have enough money? And then you write a setup and go, well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to have so much money you don't have to worry and your children won't have to worry. So it's like, oh, I'm really like pumping up the drama here. So don't use that. But we just need a little bit more in the setup, a little bit more excitement, a little bit more of a why this information is life-changing, delivered, and it will just make your setup more engaging. But by no means the worst. So we're going to move on to the next thing, which is instant credibility, killer or builder. And again, like, I don't think people realize how far the big YouTubers go with this. So YouTubers with 2-3 million subscribers, they're not sitting there going, I want to get better at presenting. They're not sitting there going, I don't want to get better at presenting, I know it all. They're hiring acting coaches. They're hanging singing lessons to make their voice more powerful. They're trying to get their presenting to a level they're so flipping good because you become across more in control, more confident, and that raises that all-important credibility a ton. So what we want to have a quick look at here is your presenting. So I'm just going to hit play again.
Let's look at 10 important investing principles and how they can benefit your portfolio. First is that asset allocation is the most important.
Okay, so let's look at it like this. You're not offensive in that you don't put me off, but because this is kind of new to you and I still feel a little bit uncomfortable with it, it feels like you're thinking a lot about what you're saying, but in a way that's maybe slowing it down. So if I was watching this, I'd whack you on 1.5. Let's have a listen.
Determinant of your investment returns rather than the specific stocks that you were invested in.
Maybe 1.25. So the first thing, just speed it up a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. That's going to make you come across a little bit more confident, and it's going to stop people hitting 1.25. But at the same time, if you are doing like deep education on investing, we don't want to be going too fast. It's going to put people off. So that's the first thing. I'd probably just bring the camera down. There's a lot of headroom as well. And also just start getting used to using your hands a little bit too. That's going to make you a little bit more composed, a little bit more confident. And it actually helps you to pass on information better too. Body language is really important. So people are going to be judging you. And if you improve your presenting, you are going to get water flowing down there. But again, I'm not going to say it's the worst. It's not the best. This is something you're going to improve over time. And then we just have credibility. So this is something that Alex Hormozi's been talking about recently. And I think people really need to cotton onto this more. So again, people don't trust us. If you want to grow a channel, there's no point bringing back the same people over and over again, which is what a lot of channels do, because, well, that's great, and we do want that. But if we want to grow, we need new, and the new people just don't trust us. So we have to instantly let them know why we are credible. Now, that doesn't mean sitting there going, I did this in 1982, and I did that, and this, and I achieved this. It means working out how can we write a hook and a setup that makes people realize, no, we are credible. So let's have a look at Ian's hook again and his setup. So I'm just going to make this up. Ian has been working in finance for 15 years and has helped 300 people. So in his hook, you would say something like this. You would say, by the way, I'm making this up on the spot, so apologies if it goes wrong. You would say, do you ever worry that you're going to get to 65 and not have enough money to live off? Well, over the last 15 years, that's been the number one complaint of my clients. But I've helped hundreds of them build investing portfolios that haven't just enabled them to retire faster, but have retired their kids too. So in this video, I'm going to show you, and then we're in. So again, I made up on the spot, we could refine it. But what you're doing is you're like saying, I have experience, I have helped people, I do this, and you're building it into your setup and hook in a way that gets people moving straight away so they realize you're credible. So in terms of credibility, I can give you a 2, but don't be offended because I just want you to say things that make you more credible and let people know that you are a financial advisor and you're available for business. So now let's just look at this. This is really simple. We've got our channel. Where's the bottleneck? It's not the direction. You've actually done a really good job of refining your channel and your audience. The titles aren't bad. It's your thumbnails. And it's just dropping in a bit of credibility. But I'll be honest with you, if you fix that and that, I think your views will double. And I think over time your presenting and these things will get better too. But I don't want to overwhelm you and overcomplicate things trying to make you write like really snazzy hooks because you haven't necessarily been trained in how to do that. So these are the places to focus, right? All right. Next place is your description. So if we go back to, let me just show you this. So if we go back to this graph, right, we are now at number 9. We've done the growth. Number 9 is that links the views to the business. And this is where a shocking amount of people they're just losing out. They're just holding them back so much. So let me just show you what this problem is, okay? So this is your description. This is the link. This is the thing that links your channel to your business. And it's the most important link on your YouTube channel. There is no link. There is a book which describes the video. But I've just watched a video. I've gone, this is great. This is super helpful. How do I work with this guy? Oh, he's just making YouTube videos for fun. Never mind. Now, you might even say in your video, oh, I have an offer. But I'm not going to go and look for it. And unfortunately, this is the theme on quite a few of your videos. Like,
calculated.
So let's have a look at this one. So we've got a free spreadsheet here. Finally, a link. I'm going to go into the problems of that in a second. But you have to fix that now. So, and anyone who is doing something similar, please sort this. I'll tell you why. Go and look at the biggest, most successful YouTubers in terms of how they make money and how they do the description. They only have a link or two. There's nothing else. And it's usually very high. And that's what we need to be doing too, because the more choice and the more confusion we give people, the less likely you are to actually make money on YouTube.
Look at the Labour Party's tax plan.
We gotta look at that. So here's what you're going to do. You have got 2 offers, and you also have an email. I want you to just put 1 that's relevant to this video, or 2 max. And then I want you to write a headline. So in your description here, have the first couple of lines describing the video. Get rid of everything else. Leave your chapters. Then have work with me. And then under that, write not what the product is, but the result it gives. So one of your products is about retirement calculation. Put something like, discover exactly how much you need to retire. That's it, link. And the one below, something that implies result with a link next to it, and leave it at that. If you do that, you're going to see the traffic to your website spike. And I know you will, because your videos are getting, this one got 38,000 views. There's without doubt loads of people in that who are going to want to pay you to help them after watching that, right? Because YouTube's not going to push a video to 38,000 people if it isn't resonating. So this is like really flipping critical. So I'm giving you a 0. Now can we see where the bottleneck is that's stopping you connecting? Here. All right, now let's quickly move on to email. So the reason I think email is important is because the guys who grow businesses on YouTube basically tend to find it's like a huge chunk of their business. So we might be talking like 70, 80% of their business comes via email. So it's a critical tool. Now you don't have to come up with anything crazy to try and drive people into your email list, but what you do need is to make it very visible that they can come to your email below a video. And then when they do, you need to make sure that when they get there, there's a flipping good reason for them to sign up. So Ian, this is the only newsletter I could find, and it says newsletter. Like, why are people going to sign up to this? There's no reason. There's no value. So I'm just going to teach you a couple of tricks to get people into your email. Firstly, address a big specific pain point. So at the top of your page here, forget all this other stuff. No one's going to read it. Just have a big headline and then the sign up. And the big headline needs to say, address a big issue with a specific pain point. So you want to speak directly to your viewers' challenges and offer a solution and a reason to sign up. And you need to make it clear and unique, okay? So let me give you an example. There's one structure you can try. This is Russell Bronson's one. It's like, get the result they want without the thing they hate. So for example, you would write, explode your investing profits without wasting hours researching stocks, as just as an example. And then below that, you have the sign up. Or you actually have a bit of a sub-headline first, potentially. Or you could try, like, another example, boost your personal brand and get internet fame in 4 minutes a week. I mean, just get rid of everything else. This is going to bring people into your email. You'll then give them a ton of value, and you'll build a community off of YouTube, which protects you and will grow your business. So in terms of your email, I'm having to give you a 1 out of 10, I'm afraid. Now we need to quickly look at your offer before we move on to the next channel, which has got slightly different problems. So, Ian, you have 2 different offers, and we have a problem. Firstly, the retirement calculator. There's a lot going on here. I'm just going to stick to the big ones. So we need a headline, like I just said. So a similar sort of thing, write a specific result they care about. So the retirement calculator, I don't know what it means. And if I'm totally honest with you, I spent about 20 minutes looking at your stuff yesterday, and I thought this was a free service you were offering. I didn't even realize you could buy it. So we need a headline here. Now this text here, find out how much money you need to retire and what level of post-tax income you can expect. Make that the headline. finally discover how much you need to, or discover how much you need to retire fast. Just something really simple like that just implies a result. Like, that's all you need. It doesn't need to be more than that. And then we just need a bit of a sub-headline underneath. And we want that sub-headline to kind of confirm. So this is mine, the step-by-step YouTube growth system for entrepreneurs and business owners who want to build a loyal following and generate income, right? So it's like, this is who it's for, and this is the result they get confirmed. Now, we could also put a video under here too, but that has to be there. And just think of your landing pages like this, right? So we want to make a promise in the headline. We then want proof. And then we want, let me just show you what I mean by proof, right? So imagine there's a headline here. We then want a testimonial. So you have a testimonial here, and think about credibility, think about trust, all these things I've been talking about. You've got this huge testimonial. It's like a book, which is great, but just pull out a sentence and maybe don't write that it was posted on eBay, because that kind of confused me. So one sec, let me just do here. Headline, video, subheadline, proof, some sort of quote. And then after that, you just want to hit the pain. Talk about like why they need this, right? So you can do something like this. Does this sound like you? Here's the pain points. Or you can start with your own story. Now, I don't want to go much deeper than that right now, because we go on this forever. But that's the most important thing. The next thing I want you to do is make your headline big, your subheadline not quite as big, and then your text, body copy as I call it, all the same font size. So this is too big, it's bigger, and then this is a slightly thinner, smaller, and then this is a different size, and then this is a different size, and then this is a different size. Just make it all one size, make it all uniform. And another thing, which I'll get to in a sec, is you need to be careful how you write, because your copy is actually putting people off buying. I'll come back to that in a sec. And it's the same for your portfolio coaching. You need a headline, and you need to make it crystal clear who it's for, and you need to really simplify this and not push people to your newsletter. So your bottleneck here is your offer. I'm going to say, if you fix this, the offer, and your description, and you don't fix anything else, you will make more money straight away. Like, I'd pretty much guarantee that, because you are getting enough views to drive. If you then fix your thumbnails, you're going to get even more, and then it's just a game of optimizing and refining. So quickly, let's just look at the last bottleneck, which is going to stop you. And this is just your overall communication. So one thing about landing pages and getting people to convert is we need to speak to them in a way that they kind of understand. So the language you use here is very financial advisory. I think other financial advisors would understand it, but let me just show you what I mean. The retirement calculator can set different phases of retirement, such as an initial bucket phase with different expenditure levels, and then the model, the percentage of your I can't even read it. Like, just write what the problem is and how this solves it, but not in a specific way. So, for example, save hours researching. Where we are. Save hours with our unique something. Insert result. I think off the top of my head, and then just write some copy underneath that is all about the result this gives, not how it works, because people just don't care. They don't want to buy the calculator. They want to buy the result of the calculator. So that's your mission, Ian. Your communication needs to be simplified a ton. You need to pretend you're writing to like someone who can, more like me, who can barely read, who's dyslexic. Make things simple, and you're going to get more wins here. So that's where you focus. All right. So now we're going to move on to the next bottleneck. So let me just make sure my sound's okay. Has my sound cut out? Audio went down. Hello, 1 2, 1 sec. Bear with me, guys. I think my So that's where you focus. All right. So now we're going to move on to next. Okay, we're good. I can hear the audio. We will move on. Right. So next channel we have. Well, they have an interesting problem. So this channel said that their main channel issue was consistency. And it's a big one for all of us, right? So sorry, I'm getting loads of messages saying it's too quiet and it's not loud enough. Let me just adjust this. Okay, hopefully that's all right. Okay, let's crack on, because it's all working on this side. Okay. So the second channel. Okay, apparently you guys can't hear it. So I've got the stream playing on my laptop. I can hear it pretty loud, so I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Sound is good. All right, I'm just going to keep going, guys. Sorry, because it's working on my laptop. I have another stream going here. Anyway, all right, it's all fixed. It's all good now. Let's crack on. Hopefully didn't miss too much there. So the next channel we want to look at is, they have a different problem. And their problem is correct, and their problem was consistency. So these guys, I'm going to move through a lot quicker because they have an amazing channel, and actually most of their views gates are open. So this is a channel called Coach Viva. And these guys are, as you can see, smashing it. 100,000 views, 149, 441, 300,000 views. So their channel size is 125,000 subscribers. They're doing really, really well. Right, so let's go and review their channel. Okay, so the first thing, direction and strategy. So what we can see here is they are very clearly in the right direction. It's, as soon as you land, you know this is a fitness channel about losing weight, right? So I'm going to give them, I can't really suggest anything. I'm going to give them an 8 because I said I'd never give anyone a 10. The next thing we want to look at is the titles. So the titles are great, short, interesting. Like this one's really cool. How I use atomic hammocks to lose 12 pounds forever. Like, that's unique. They're short, they're intriguing. So again, I'm going to give them 8 out of 10. Their thumbnails are flipping good. Like big views. Again, I'm going to give them 8 out of 10. First impression. All right, let's click play and just see what we instantly think. Okay, so straight away we're met with an AI. Just have a quick watch of this. This is cool.
Minimalism is about identifying what is essential in your life and having the courage to eliminate the rest.
So we've got a strong visual hook there. It's a really good hook. It makes me think they care. Like, yeah. In terms of first impressions, 8 out of 10. All right, and then in with the hook. So the hook, let's have a quick look. The hook was strong. We have a strong visual hook. I'm just going to listen to it again.
Minimalism is about identifying what is essential in your life and having the courage to eliminate the rest. Question for you. How much does your environment, your kitchen setup, your digital setup, even the people in your life?
Okay, so again, this is like a really strong hook. Straight away, she's posing a question.
Minimalism is
it's a statement. Sorry.
About identifying what is essential in your life and having the courage to eliminate the rest. Question for you. How much does your environment, your kitchen setup, your digital setup, even the people in your life enable the bad habits you want?
Okay, so she's posed the question straight away. She's hooked us. The production value is insane. So I'm going to quickly fly through this one so we can move on to the problem. The hook, we got a 7 out of 10. The setup, I'll come back to in a sec. The presenting is very strong. The credibility, I feel, let's have another look at.
Break. If you're like me, you've tried hiding ice cream behind all the healthy stuff. You've tried keeping your gym clothes ready for a morning workout. You've installed app blockers to stop scrolling social media late into the night. These work great for a few days, and then inevitably the snacks are in front again. You forgot to put gym clothes out.
Okay, so here we go. She's mentioned that she's got struggles. I know through their other content, she talks about her own journey of how she lost weight, and they also talk about their clients. So I'm not going to go through every video, but basically they do everything well. All right, let's move on to the description to see if there's a blockage there. So this is where it gets interesting on this channel. So as we can see, we've got a lot of different things going on here. We've got this, watch my 5-minute sneak peek of my program, book an hour call, book a 15-minute call, a free workshop, a body tracker. There's too many things. Like, so if you don't specifically mention them in the video, like what are they, then I don't know why I need to click them, right? So book a discuss this fit with me program. I don't know what the fit with me program is. So we need to position that in a way is book a 1-hour call to discuss how we can help you lose weight in its simplest form. And then the same here, like for free help with your barriers, like there might be a reference in the video, but if I don't know what a barrier is, then I'm not going to click on it. So you've also got a 15-minute call, and then you've got an hour call. So which one do I click on for me? And then there's like a 5-minute sneak peek of the program. So it's just too confusing. So I think you just need one. Like, just drive them to book a call. If that's the thing that you really want and that you think is going to be most helpful. Now, the free workshop, let's have a quick click on this. All right, so we got this video, and then you click it. You're trying to get people into your email. So, yeah, okay, you're trying to build people into your... We'll come back to that. But, yeah, in terms of the description, simplify what's done. There's just way too much choice. And the more choice we give people, the more they're going to be overwhelmed. And I think the less likely you are to get clicks. So I'm going to give you a description of 4 out of 10. All right, so a quick review. Sorry, I didn't go too deep on their channel in terms of the content. There's no point. They're doing everything amazing. Go back and check them out. We want to look at the problems that we can fix. So looking at this, it's like, well, what do we fix to help you generate more income? There's a very clear and obvious winner there. We got to fix your description. All right. So now let's just move on to your email and your offer. So this is where the business side of things, and where you're going to make money and turn these views into business, right? So I have a few problems. Let's click on this. I'm going to click on the call to start off with, right? Because I feel like this is going to be an important way to build your business. So at the top, we have this book consultation call to discuss your customized weight loss plan. Okay. So I kind of want to know a little bit more about like why I should do this. If we look at trust and credibility and all these things that are really important to build, like what's going to happen on this call? So traditionally, when you see a call page like this, there's more copy with it, and it's clearly tied into a program here, right? So we need probably a bit more details of that program. So if you look at Charlie Morgan's landing page, for example, he's got a nice hook at the top, some kind of let's go have a look. I don't know if I've got the link. I'll leave that for now. He's got some sort of headline at the top, which goes by the rules that we spoke about earlier. You know, it delivers a specific result. So let's just say, for example, this is lose 10 pounds in 5 weeks without giving up chocolate. Right? That could be the hook. And then you have like a VSL or a video under it that kind of unpacks the value that's in this program and helps people realize it's the right fit for them, and some more information is kind of what's in the program. So you're driving people just to a call here. Now that's fine, it might be working for you, but really for me as a cold viewer, I need a bit more information. So that's what I'd be considering, is how do we convince people this is actually going to be a waste of time rather than just like a free call? Now you might have tested this. If you've tested it out, then if you've tested this out and it's working for you, that's fine. But I just look at it and think we need more. And then the problem I have is the 15-minute. Like, why do we want the 15? So it's confusing. I think simplify this down. And again, is this for a program, a different program, the same program? And do you want to push multiple things or just have one offer? And yeah, I don't know where to go as a viewer. So this is why this description is so critical. And then we have this, which is the 5-minute sneak peek. Now, the problem with a sneak peek is, well, firstly, we're just trying to get their details here more than anything from the looks of it, which is fine. But again, I want more information about what this program is about. Like, why is it just a video? Most people want to scan the page, look down, learn what problems it might solve, how it relates to them. So I think you need to make a landing page that has a lot more information on, and then give people the option to book. And if you've tested that and it didn't work, ignore me. But otherwise, these areas, I'm probably going to rank at like 4, because I just need more to get me over the line, and I need more in the description to make it very clear why I should do these things. So if we look at your bottleneck, which wasn't any of these things, you mentioned it was consistency. This is the place to focus, and then consistency is the next place to focus. Now, the system doesn't cover consistency, but looking at your channel, the flipping thing's growing like crazy when you post.
If you try,
I would firstly start by looking at these areas to see, okay, if we're struggling with consistency, can we generate more leads from what we do put out? And then that kind of means we maybe don't need to be as consistent in terms of the business sense. If you fix this and you want more leads, you just need to build systems to enable you to scale this. So you need to be looking at what are the bottlenecks in your own production. Is it ideation? Is it thumbnails? Is it writing? Is it filming? Is it editing? What is it that's actually stopping you getting going? And in most places, it could be the business too. You might find that you're getting pulled into other areas, right? So maybe you're working too much in the business rather than on it. So you should be looking at, okay, maybe I outsource those tasks to free me up so that I can make more content. But yeah, your bottlenecks, your description and your email, I think if you fix that, you might not even need to be as consistent because you will generate more business from the views that you do get because you have a ton. All right. So I'm now going to move on to our next contestant. And this one's a guy called, I believe his name is Mike. And his problem is getting sales. And we're going to see why it's getting sales in a minute. Yeah, there's some big mistakes here that a lot of people make, and we can really fix these. All right, so let's just click on Mike's channel and put him through the system. You guys who are watching in the live, let me know in the chat, have you seen things where you're like, I make that as a mistake? That's something I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing, because I've seen these mistakes pop up all over the place. I'd be really interested to know. Okay, so this is Mike, and Mike has a leadership channel, and yeah, he wants to make more sales. So let's just run his channel through at the moment, because although he's not getting millions of views, we can probably generate more sales based on what I show you in a minute. But let's see what he can do to improve his channel first to get the whole system fired up and flowing. So Mike's first thing, direction and strategy. Let me just get rid of Ian. And these guys, one sec. Yeah. For me, this is pretty clear. There's one thing I want to bring up, and that is that there's slightly two targets here. So this is a leadership channel, and by the way, like, ignore me if this is wrong, but some of your videos look like they are talking to people who aren't leaders. So there's talk of, like, let me just flip this up here. Don't let your boss ruin your life. So if it's a leadership channel, are you not the boss? Or are you talking to the leader's boss? So that to me is maybe a slightly different channel in that you're talking to people about how to deal with their bosses, and there was some other stuff about how to get promotions, and then there's other stuff about leadership. So it's like, what rank in the business are you talking to? I don't think it's a critical problem, but it's just something I noticed and I thought I'd bring up. So I'm just going to say, look, for now, let's say 7 out of 10, because I kind of got what your channel's about straight away. So we'll move on. I don't think it's the biggest bottleneck. Okay. So next thing we want to look at is the titles. So nice and short. I believe this lie about leadership for years. So you're playing the YouTube game well. The word lie always pops up. How to come out. Yeah, these are titles I've seen on YouTube because I've worked with channels in a similar niche, and I've seen them find titles like this to base videos on. So I think your titles are good. I'm gonna say for now you're 7 out of 10. And then we're gonna look at your thumbnails. So the meta on thumbnails has changed. Like the crazy over the top look has something that I'm generally telling my clients to kind of tone down a little bit. Think about your audience. They're professionals. Do they need the crazy mouth open? Is that something that's going to relate to them? In many cases, no, is the answer. However, I don't think it's the worst. These are good. I really like this one because you look confused. It's got that reaction without it being too much. Then the thumbnails are nice and simple. Look, I like simple thumbnails where you can just use text, because the cool thing is you can make the same thumbnail of 3 different versions of the text, put them in, flip them around, and learn which version of the text does better and then reuse that. So simplifying your thumbnails is great. One thing I would put up is like 99% can't do this. Can't do what? We want some sort of context to your niche in here maybe. 99% of managers can't do this, but then it gets a bit too long. So that's one thing to think about. But I would say in terms of your thumbnails, it's not the biggest holder-backerer. I'm going to give you 6 for now. Okay, first impression. Let's have a quick look at Mike.
Asking for...
Okay, he hasn't said anything yet. What is your eye drawn to is the question. So let me just make sure I'm not leaning on this wire. To me, it was the coffee in his hand. Now, on Instagram, they actually use this as a hook, a visual hook. They present with something in their hands and it draws your eyes towards it to get you straight away. So it's not the worst thing, but I noticed it. Otherwise...
Are you brave enough to admit that you don't...
Okay, this is very subjective, but in terms of a first impression, just think about this. You are giving advice about working in a corporate environment, but you're working from your home office, which my brain just straight away went like, that's not very corporate. Now, I don't think you should be corporate, and I don't think you should action anything based on what I've just said. But I just wanted to bring that up as a first impression. That's where my brain went. You guys as viewers, you might find it goes a completely different place. But in terms of first impression, it looks professional. The setup's nice. I'm going to give it a 6. There's things you could tweak, but it's not going to be critical. Let's have a quick look at your hook. So let me just sort this, make sure this isn't too loud, this sound when it plays. Apologies if it is.
Are you brave enough to admit that you don't have all the answers? Most managers aren't. Today, we're going to challenge the ego-driven culture of leadership. We're going to discover...
Okay. So I like that. The first thing you say is... Bear me one sec. I'm just going to...
Are you brave enough to admit that you don't have all the answers?
Sorry, that one was a question hook. It was me turning down the mic that time. Let me just have a quick play on this.
Why do some teams push back against new leadership? Is it distrust?
Okay, that's a good hook. So what we've got there is we've got a question that people are going to kind of like want to know the answer to. It's relatable. Yeah, your hook's pretty good. They're nice and simple. I went through a few of your videos and they work for me. So look, this is not the thing we need to worry about too much right now. Let's have a quick look at your setup.
Is it fear? Or is it something
Let me just...
deeper? I've always believed it was something that I personally did or was doing, but that's totally wrong. Today, we unpack the real reason your team might be standing on the other side of the leadership line and what you can do exactly to not just cross it.
The setup, we're good. So your hook went on a little bit long, but now you're setting it up, and I like the way you're presenting too. Someone in the comments asked this: why are thumbnails and titles not considered a problem if he's not getting views? He is getting views. This isn't an entertainment niche. 1,000 of the right people is a hell of a lot of people. 3,000 is a lot. Like, I'm not concerned by his views. The problem he came here with is he wants more sales, not more views. And actually, more views will help, but his biggest problem is sales. So forget view numbers. In what we're doing right now, it's not all about the views at all. And actually, he's got plenty. And I've looked into his business too, and he's got an email list. He's got way more than enough to generate sales. So it's not critical, and I actually think he's doing a good job. And I know this niche, and it's not about viral. So quickly, I'm just going to hop in here and rate this. The hook was good. The setup, he set up the value of what was to come in a way that made it interesting, and his other videos do too. His presenting, I actually think he's a really good presenter. I like it. Every now and then it speaks a tiny bit too slow, but I think it works. Okay, credibility. So again, going back to this idea of how do I set up something to make myself more credible? So what I'm going to do is, let's see if we can just quickly rewrite his hook. Let's just see if we can bring in some credibility to this.
Why do some teams push back against new leadership? Is it distrust? Is it fear? Or is it something deeper? I've always believed it was something that I personally did or was doing, but that's totally wrong. Today, we unpack the real reason your team might be standing on the other side of the leadership line.
Okay, so what we want to be doing here, this is the point where I probably bring in, today I'm going to show you how I've helped hundreds of managers overstep the leadership line to get promotions faster, with less stress and build more respect. So again, it's just dropping in this idea that you have helped people do this before. You have credibility. You're not just sitting talking to camera doing it. I did it at the very beginning of this presentation. If you go back and look, I mentioned that I've used this information to get X, Y, and Z results. All right, so let's quickly look at credibility. Again, I'm just gonna mark it down. This is not saying you're not credible. Just pump up that credibility in your hook and your setup so we can get in fast. Let's have a quick look at your description. Okay, we have a newsletter, and then we have an absolute mountain of stuff. Podcasts, LinkedIn, Skillshare. It's overwhelming. Just get rid of all of this. This is a bit too long. You don't really need that much information. Get rid of all of that. Like, this isn't helping the algorithm enough. YouTube's listening to every word that you say. So you don't need all this stuff, right? So this is it. Want to work with me? Current programs and courses. Leadership bootcamp. I don't know what that means. So we need to insert the result this bootcamp gives. So let's have a quick look. Okay, none of these are working for me. So we need to come up with something more specific. So we need a specific result here viewers want, and then they can click on it. Same with this, 360 Leadership Conference. I don't know what that means. And then the management template pack, I don't know what that means. So make sure you write these little tiny short reasons to click based around the result they'll get rather than what they are, because no one knows. Your clicks will skyrocket if you do that. These Watch Me Next playlists are good. They're actually good for continuing watch time sessions. So I'm going to recommend you keep them. The podcast, I'd probably get rid of because they're on YouTube. They don't need the podcast, but that's not the worst. And then all of this stuff, just get rid of and just make it as simple as possible and get your link higher. Now, you've got your newsletter here. This makes me happy. So let's move on to the description. I'm going to give you a 3 out of 10. You can fix that pretty quick. And then we're going to move on to the email. So let me just hop in here. Oh, dear. 0, Mike. 0. What happened? Page not found. If this is going to be one of the most important income generators for your business, we need to find it. So, yeah, same rules apply. What we want to be looking at is your headline, the reason why people need to sign up to this email list where you're going to continually pump out value and make sure it's found. I like that you've got this button here, join 2,571 subscribers. You could bring that into your sub headline. So on mine, what I do is, by the way, I don't like my headline, so ignore it. This, join over 21,240 creators. That pumps up credibility, makes it realize there's people who are in here. It creates FOMO. I like that. So you could use your, you could use your, where's it gone? Yeah, you could use that here, but you got to fix that like today because it looks like you're putting effort in here, and you've got 2,571 subscribers, right? So don't lose out on those email signups. Sorry, I had to give you a 0. And then your offer. Okay, so I got 8 minutes left. I'm going to spend the time looking at this because this is a really common problem. So you said the reason that you wanted, the thing you wanted to focus on was getting more sales. And we know that the channel's not too bad. There's definitely things that you can do to get more views, but this isn't the critical problem that you have right now, as we're about to find out. The email in the description is. But your offer is, let's click on, firstly, which one do you actually want to sell? You can build a product ladder where you funnel people from cheap to expensive. Let's click on this one, start. So don't waste time reinventing the wheel. What the hell? What does that mean? So I don't know what that means. Like, what does reinventing the wheel mean? We need a way more specific and obvious result. We don't want any kind of metaphor here. We don't want anything where people have to think too hard. So this one's more interesting. Start managing quickly with pre-made template packaging. All right. So I don't know what managing quickly means. And I also don't know what pre-made template package. So all of this is stopping you from getting conversions. This is the first thing people see. It's the reason they scroll down the page. They'll probably be gone. Let's have a look if there's anything we can dig out from here. So managing a team, it's not easy. It can be a lot of pressure. The ultimate launchpad is here with this pre-made template page. You have everything you need to get started on the right foot with your team. So again, the right foot, be more specific. Everything you need to instantly build rapport, gain respect, work your way up the career ladder. Like, let them know exactly the result it has. So you need to work on your headline. You need to work on your sub-headline. I'm not going to click on the video for now. I don't really know why I need this. That's the problem. So then we've got the value stack, as they call it, which is like showing us what's included in this. But yeah, we need a lot more. We need a promise, and we also need some proof, credibility, testimonials. Like, that's critical. You've got to get them on this page. And then make the problem it solves super clear. That's just the basics to start at for now. And then we've got your next offer, which is in a similar kind of situation. So firstly, get instant access, I don't think should be above the headline. Like, this is taking all my eyes, or all my attention, sorry. So we just want this. Silence the little voice in your head telling you you're not good enough. The only problem with that is, how big a problem is that, and what does it even mean? And what if you don't have a voice in your head? So we need to work on this headline to, again, go for what is the promise? What is the specific thing that this is going to help them do? So this is good. Impress your boss and get promoted, all while confidently leading your team. I like that. That's better than this. I'd probably just have that. Then we've got our video, which I haven't got time to dive into. But then we've got this, 360 leadership confidence. What does that mean? So this, 7 steps to becoming a confident leader, sounds better, but really the copy on this page, again, we want a headline, makes a promise, sub-headline that makes it clear who this is for and the result people are going to get. And then we want a testimonial of some sort to show there's proof. And actually, if I scroll to the bottom, there it is. Look at this. Forbes. I want that right at the top. Like, that's social proof, right? And it's the same theme for this entire page. There's not a clear enough specific result, and it gets a little bit confusing. And sadly, it's the same for this one too. So you need kind of feedback on things like this. It's very hard to spot yourself. Like, I'm always getting feedback on stuff in terms of YouTube and sales and copy. But make your leadership abilities impossible to ignore. What does that mean? Like, get more specific with the result. So I actually think your offer and your communication is the reason, believe it or not, you're not generating as many sales. We can always improve the channel. We can always grow it, but you're consistent, which is good. You come across as credible. Other people have shared your channel with me before in the past in your niche. So you are kind of known within a small niche, but you need to work on these landing pages and make it crystal clear what the value that they have is. Otherwise, you're not going to make any more sales. Okay, guys. I know this has been a bit different. I know the impact. I've seen it firsthand. I help people all the time. I know the impact it has fixing all of these little things. And for many people watching this, you probably don't have a views problem. You have a description problem and then a landing page problem. So if you want more help with that, there's a link in the description. I help people with it every day, and I help YouTubers make money and grow channels. Just click it and check it out. Otherwise, I'm going to do more of these. I hope you found it useful. Let me know in the comments what you found the most useful, what your biggest pain points are. And I will be back maybe next week or the week after with something else that does something kind of similar. Have a good evening or day or month. Sorry about the sound, by the way. I'll have to go back and look at that.